I am the Headless Headhunter, a corporate recruiter here to review your resumes to get you ahead of your job search. So this is a full stack developer. Do I have this here? We do not know how many jobs they've applied to, but they have been looking since last June, which is not good. They want to get their first job out of college that pays. And I will be honest with everybody, that is like the hardest job search of your life. The hardest job search of your life will always and forever be getting your foot in the door in any industry. It's still, even in a good market, which at the time of this video, we are not in a good market. So that's always going to be the hardest job search. So what we're going to be looking for as a full stack dev is TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node, Angular, Next.js, MongoDB, SQL, React.js, API, REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, and cross-functionally. Bonus points are architecture, extra language, and Git. Now, this person wanted to do it across the across the globe. They said they graduated last year, and they are trying to land their first worldwide developer. So I will be honest, the keywords are going to change a little bit. The keywords, even between a full stack dev in the EU and the US, are different. So you really gotta make sure you're in the right spot for it, because these are the US keywords. The UK or EU keywords are going to be slightly different. Not much different, but slightly different. So like that. And if anybody else needs more help or they want their resume reviewed, just be sure to submit your resume below or check me out on Twitch. It's Headless Headhunter. Sorry, it's twitch.tv/Headless Headhunter. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST till about 2 o'clock. That is where I get these keywords live, and I can help you find keywords for this if you need it. So I'm going to assume this person has the correct visa status for applying all over the world, and I'm going to use the EU version because this looks like they're closer to the EU, I guess, because as a European university. So let's see what we can find. This formatting is awful. Absolutely awful. You want this formatting. The reason you want good formatting is bad formatting takes away from what recruiters actually want, which is to find what we need, which is this stuff right here. And the worse your formatting, the harder it is for us to find. Now, there is a thing called resume fatigue-ish. Basically, when you look at 200 resumes in under 45 minutes to an hour, you miss stuff. Stuff you should probably know. So that's why this boring and basic format works. So this should be one line. There should not be any bolding here or here. Then let's look at this to see if this is actually the keywords we're looking for. Develop, maintain web apps using React.js and TypeScript. Okay. Functional agile team. That's 4, which is good. Authored over 10. Okay, so here's the problem. This is not the worst, but there's only 5 keywords here I'm looking for. I'm looking for more than 5 keywords, and that's all that I found. I found React.js, which is nice. It's not the biggest thing. TypeScript, which is huge. Agile, which is nice. And API, which is nice. And cross-functional, which is nice, but not as needed necessarily in the EU as much. So my problem is I did not find enough. If you are full stack, I really want to see TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and then if you are in the US or the UK, this is going to be either Java and that stuff or Python. Again, depends on the area. So assisted in models, keywords, documentation, don't care, React.js and Node. So yeah, here, this entire thing right here, I found 5 things that I'm looking for. And you don't necessarily need to have all of these. I want to be clear. You don't have to panic and think you need all of them. But you do need at least 75% of them. And 5 is not 75%. So, assisted in designing key models. Yep, nothing. So this one is okay. React and Node is more. RESTful API is better. Agile, again, there's a lot of React. So down here, they have the skill section. Skill sections don't matter. It needs to be under bullet points, and you need to tell me what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. So I just need more keywords, and I need the formatting to be better. This does not count anything about, like, visa status, which I don't know what this person's is, but they said they were going to apply worldwide. So make sure you're legally authorized to work in the country you are applying to, because it doesn't matter how good your resume is if they cannot legally hire you. So that's it for this particular resume. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a business development developer. There's a bunch of different titles, but business development person. So what we're going to be looking for is B2B, the word education, that you have a valid driver's license. We don't need to see your whole driver's license number. It's just nice to see valid driver's license on the resume. MS Office is great. So that's Word, Excel, PowerPoint. CRM, which is customer relationship management systems or platforms or whatever, and engaging stakeholders and customers from IC, which is individual contributor, basically from the bottom of the company to the very tippy top, along with getting contracts, meeting sales goals, and the specific industry that you are applying for. So I don't know what those are going to be exactly, but if you've been out of work since late 2022, which is not good, and you've only had one interview, that's not good. It also says that you've only applied to 100 jobs. Is that right? So first off, you need to apply to about 50 jobs a week. Especially because I was looking at this, and this is like a hot market, so something's seriously off. So first off, check to make sure your phone number, email, and LinkedIn are correct, and that your voicemail is not full, and that it's not going to spam. But let's see if you can have the rest of the keywords there without that part. So an eminently motivated, no, I do not care about any of this. The only reason you ever want a summary is A, if you're moving, which I've covered, and B, if you have something critically wrong in your resume, or you are switching industries. Every single here's why you don't want this. Every single resume starts like this. There's like nothing here that is not different between every other resumes. And I don't even like, even if you don't even want to stand out as a resume, but this doesn't do anything for you. So again, core competencies, don't care. I need this in a job description. I need it in a bullet point. It needs to be in a bullet point under a job. Otherwise, it does not matter. Also, your education should be at the top. Where is your education? All the way down here, you don't need your high school. All you need is this and this, which is, yeah, you just need university and nation licensing system. And don't put when you graduated, just say status graduated. That's all you need to do. And it should look like this. This is the best resume format you can get. I swear to you all. I know it does not seem like it, but based on how recruiters actually review and do their work, this will get their attention. I'm saying that quotation marks because realistically what this is, they're going to be like, okay, cool, I can find what I need. Stamp of approval. So back to the keywords, but already you wasted a lot of space, and the most important part of your resume is the first half of your first page. So initial pause during this condition. No, don't do any of this. This is not good. None of this is good. This doesn't matter, right? You don't have to say strategic career break. You could, I don't know what you were doing there this time, but it doesn't actually look like you were doing anything that they'd want either, because these are kind of the things that they want. So even then, if you did put it, I would put like how you did any of these things, but you shouldn't have it look like this. Then assistant vice president, construction of lending, recruited for expertise and developed the West Coast market, legislative question. Okay, I don't find to close volume. Yeah, this is too technical. The recruiter may not actually know what it is. You have written your resume in a way that is not understandable for the person reading it. Maybe the manager will, but even then, based on one interview in a year and a half, that's probably not the case. So you need to trash this whole resume, go to this format, focus on the basics, okay? The resume is not built to showcase how good you are. It is built to show you meet the minimum qualifications. Only that, forever that. If you try to make it be a huge brag, it's not going to show. So I need to see that you've done B2B. I need to see that you've had an education. I need to see that you have a valid driver's license. I need to see that you used MS Office, CRM, that you've talked and engaged with stakeholders and customers. I need to see that you've gotten contracts, that you've met your sales goals, specifically met the goals, and the industry you're trying to go for. And I see none of that. This is just a large amount of space that doesn't tell me anything. Plus, you have assistant vice president. That is probably another reason it's a ding against you, is that's too high up. If you're hiring a biz dev person, why would you hire an assistant vice president? You may need to change your job title into what you actually did at biz dev. So there's a lot wrong here, and I'd like to help you out, but you really need to redo like all of this because there's basically nothing here I'd like to see. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of a staff accountant. So what we're going to be looking for as a staff accountant, which is different than a different type of accountant, is education in accounting or something very similar, previous experience as a staff accountant, which is good, Microsoft Office suite, particularly Excel, such as pivot tables and VLOOKUP. You absolutely need that in your resume. That was in most job descriptions. Word, PowerPoint, that you can multitask, that you've done SAP, and a bonus points is CPA, but is not needed. So this person says they have a 1 in 50 ratio, which I hope is accurate because that's an average one. And let's look at this. This is a monstrosity. So formatting wise, you need to make it look like this. All these colors and everything is different. And this right here is kind of hurting you. Is this reads like you are an assistant for children, not an office manager. So sorted and distributed mail, I don't care about that. Receive daily packages, I don't care about that. You could just delete this and it'd be safe. There's nothing here I need. If anything, it makes it look worse because it kind of looks like you're a job hopper based on these two. So I would completely delete that. And where's your education? It's like a requirement for this. Bachelor's of Science of Business Accounting, and you have a CPA. You are up top, sir or ma'am. This needs to be up top. Well, you said John Doe, so I'm assuming male. So up top, that should be your very, after your contact information, it should be up there. Your education absolutely needs to be there. It is a requirement. Requirements are in the top half of the resume. And you have a little bit of CPA prep, even if it's not the full thing. That looks huge. You would probably be having a 1 in 15 to 1 in 20 ratio if you made that change alone. So delete this. Replace it with the education. Fix your formatting. Accountants, audited and reconciled subcontractors invoice for accounts payable, generated administrative major projects, audited data, backlog. Again, where's the Excel? Where's the Word, the PowerPoint, the SAP? The audited one is okay. I like that one, but where's the rest of it? Various industries, accounting consultants, process journal and supporting error-free monthly tracking, aiding, calculating, distributing month to month, and end close is one that can be it, along with GAAP, which can be there, but the rest of it is not as needed. So yeah, and you've done staff accounting here too. Your resume is not. I'm so upset with this because this is an actual solid resume. Here we go. Collaborative accounting project, SAP, monitored SAP. This is the stuff I want, and compliance with GAAP. Your formatting is bad and a lot of your bullet points are bad. And you're not showing the keywords here, but you actually have them. It's like everything from second page is great. But guess what? Recruiters are probably not going to go to the second page. The first half of your first page is the most important part of your resume. So put your education up top, fix the formatting, delete this, have a couple of better bullet points here, although I did like the first one, so that we can actually see this. And then you should start having way more than 1 in 50. The fact that the accounting market is so great is why you're getting 1 in 50 in the first place, but you would get so much more if you just fixed all this stuff. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of an AI ML engineer. So what we're going to be looking for, and this is specifically in the EU, but truthfully the keywords for this actually were the same in the US to the EU, is a degree, it was a requirement, ML, LLM, NLP, AI, Python, SQL, Cloud, Git, CI/CD, TensorFlow, PyTorch, Skibbity, Learn, whatever, Pandas, NumPy, Keras. I hate IT terms, they mean nothing. Also, Hugging Face, that sounds like a terrifying parasite in a horror movie, but it's an AI thing. That you've done customer facing, that you've talked with some stakeholders and clients, and you've done model performance. Basically, they want to make sure you're not going to scare away the customers. So, this person has a 1 to 75 ratio, which is a C minus. No, that's like a D. So it fails, but it doesn't fail by a lot. So let's see if we can't bring this up, because a 1 to 75 is not great. Ideally, you want a 1 to 50. Unless you're applying for internships, because this person's also enrolled, which I don't know if they are or not. I think they're applying for full-time roles, but the resume that gets you a full-time role is not the resume that will actually get you an internship. They are different qualifications, weirdly enough. So first off, your formatting's off. There should be no line between these. I want it to look like this. Trust me, the closer you can get it to look like this, the better. Nothing here should be bolded. Your education should be up at the top. Education is a requirement. You need it up at the top. That's the rule. Everything that is a requirement should be in the first half of your first page. So, in addition, this does not need to be this long. You can just have 2 lines. That's all, just 2 lines. So just with the MS and the BS, that should be fine. So let's go to this. Built a multi-agent web app for resume scoring. Resumes, that's not how ATSs work. Please don't make those. I hate when people make those because they're usually garbage. I'm sorry. Resumes, ATS does not score the resume. That is not how an ATS works. Pennant generation using LangGraph. I don't know if LangGraph is one of the most common terms that I was looking for. And Python, developing backend with fast API. Shockingly, API is not something I really care about as much. In the front end with React, again, not what I'm looking for. So there's nothing here I really want. Python is it, but again, I'd like more than Python. So there is Python, at least. I developed a RAG application, ChromaDB, using LangGraph and Python, form of value matrix, deep value using CI/CD is good. Nothing else here, nothing else here. MLflow. Okay, so here's the problem. I'm going to assume, based on my knowledge of IT, that MLflow stands for machine learning flow. It's highly probable that the recruiter who is recruiting for this does not know that. So you need to make sure they know that that's ML. So I'm going with the assumption that that is, but it's possible they may not. Increase embedded metrics, I don't care. PyTorch, this is good. Let breakdowns get cast. So there's not a lot here that I want. I will be honest with you. There's like 3 things, but I need more. All right, I just need more. I need more than this. I don't care about deep eval or ChromaDB or LangGraph, but I do care about TensorFlow, PyTorch, scikit-learn, Skibbity, whatever, learn, Pandas, NumPy, Cloud, Python, SQL. So I want more there. I developed a RAG application using no, I'm not. Whatever. It has Python, but they're still not. So the problem is this is going to be incomprehensible to the layman, and the layman is the one reviewing your resume first. It's also possible that the hiring manager themselves doesn't know these words. Sometimes really good hiring managers are not up to date on the, I guess, slang of the current keywords and terms, and that one word used to mean one thing and now it means another, or vice versa. So this is not a worst resume, because again, I can see CI/CD, I can see Python, and it is clear that's an AI, but you really need to like trim this down. There's a lot of extraneous stuff. Oh, here's SQL. I almost missed it because there's so many other things that I don't care about. And then, yeah, so education needs to be up at the top. Projects, blog, this is fine. Yeah. Okay, so not the greatest resume, not the worst. I can see why it's failing. D, again, this is a D level resume. Ideally, we want to make it to at least like a B or like a C plus or C minus at the worst. So if you make those changes, you should get about 1 in 50 to 1 in 35, 1 in 40, which is what we want. That is the goal. So to summarize, most of your bullet points are bad. They're not the worst, but they're sort of overly stuffed with keywords that I don't care about. You cannot just cram in a bunch of keywords into a resume. You really need to be specific about which ones you use, and because otherwise the recruiter can miss it. Because remember, you are probably the 35th resume they were reviewing in 10 minutes. They have 15 seconds to review it. Then there's another 35 seconds of clicking to the next one and clicking the reject button. So they can easily miss it. Put your education up at the top, fix the formatting, and you're going to have a much better ratio. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a project manager / project coordinator. They are sort of different jobs. Coordinator is a little bit lower level, project manager is a little bit higher level. So for this, we're going to specifically look for the project manager, which what we're going to be looking for is specifically, and this is the big part, details about how and why you did X, how you did and how you made things happen compared to how you did things. Because remember, your job is to have a lot of responsibility, but very little power. PMP and CSM cert is huge. Customer, stakeholders, agile industry, number of team members, matrix, cross-functional, number of projects, budgets, multitask, how you use resources for success, and how you solve problems and influence. So this is going to be less specifically keywords and more sentences explaining how you've made changes in the internal industry, how many products you made, projects you've done. Sorry. So this person, this is a revised resume, which we don't know the ratio yet, but their previous ratio they said was 150 to 1, which is not good. They've been applying for almost 2 years, and they've been reformatting their resume multiple times. So let's see if we can't help them out. So good. My formatting is great. I like it. All right. So SQL support transaction coordinator. All right. That's an interesting thing. Coordinated documents and deadlines using CMR tools. Coordinated. What do you mean documents and how did you coordinate documents? Deadlines using to ensure timely and accurate real estate closings. Cannot speak right now. Manage scheduling and tracked tasks for hundreds of real estate transactions using internal systems. See, that one's okay. Ensuring deadline and regulatory compliance. That's okay. Collaborated with teams, stakeholder communication. So here's my problem. I don't identify gaps in management, improvement, partner with IT. You're not telling me how you did these. So it's the problem specifically for like manager and project and program manager roles is you need to tell me how you changed the company. Your job, remember, is to be able to manage the projects, but you don't have those people reporting to you. You have to sort of guile them. You have to convince them. You say, hey, this is what we need to do. Here's why. And I don't really see that. Like, here is an okay, because, yeah, you mentioned MS Project and MS Office, which is nice, but mostly what I'm looking for here is how you solved problems. Like, collaborated with team stakeholders and clients. I don't like the word collaborated. How did you do that? Did you met with team stakeholders and clients? But what do you mean through clear communication and through documentation? It doesn't... And I'm not even really looking for CRM platforms as much. Like, yeah, they're nice, but I don't care about necessarily the tools. I care about how did you convince the stakeholders? Did you meet stakeholders once a week? Did you convince them using graphs and pie charts? And what was the result? I mean, I do like the satisfaction, so that is the result, but there's just like nothing here I can grab onto specifically for a project manager section. That's the big thing is I'm not seeing it. Like, I need more than this. Now, admittedly, I did look up the keywords for project manager and not project coordinator, but usually it's still close to that. The coordinator one does care a little bit more about these keywords, but like coordinated documents is such a weird sentence. What do you mean coordinated documents? What does that mean? Did that mean you just filed them on time? Because that's what I'm assuming, and that's really not project manager stuff. I need to know how many stuff, like hundreds of real estate transactions is okay, but like how many, what were your projects? Because like you are applying to a manager / coordinator, so I don't see that here. I just don't. Is there anything else? And I think that's why you don't have any luck. And I asked my people in chat, like, do they see anything that is related? Like, am I missing something about this? But this doesn't seem like a project manager and I'll double check to see if there's anything different, project coordinator, but it's missing. There's nothing here that shows that you are the one that actually did this. You were sort of told to do it, which is not what they're looking for. They're not looking for somebody that is told to do X. They're looking for somebody that is proactive and saying, our previous system was down X and Y, so I created X and Y, which allowed us to boost productivity or something like that. But there's just a bunch of like nothing here. Like there's nothing here I can really grab onto, because you can't just say collaborated with stakeholders. You can't just say coordinated documents and deadlines, because I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for you to manage the process. So I don't want to like rag on you. I don't want this to be super insulting. I'm not seeing what I need. And this is probably why you have 150 to 1, which is other recruiters are not seeing it. This is not, it may be that you are not you are not qualified for project manager. Maybe there is another part of the industry or a different word or title that you are qualified for, but this is not really project management, because project management is juggling about 3 to 5 different projects of various budgets at the same time, making sure that the people working for you are cross-functional across different teams, that their deadlines are met, that your overall project deadlines are met, but also that you've convinced stakeholders and made sure that they are on board with the process. So I don't like ending it on a sad note, but that is it for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. If you need more help, submit your resume or join me on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlesshunter, and I'm here to help you get ahead of your job search. I'll see you in the next video.